In September every year, Gib-Bats participates in International Bat Night, a Eurobats event organised locally by GONS. It's an evening where members of the public are invited to learn more about these misunderstood and shy creatures. Zoologist James Shipman is a frequent visitor to the Rock who comes to study bats in this unique habitat.
I do a lot of voluntary work with bats. My main passion has always been wildlife, but now I've got mainly interested in the bat side of things. It's a real passion for me. I find educating people, the public, new trainees, people who want to get and experience bats is very crucial for people to learn about them.
In the 2014 edition of International Bat Night, history was made when a brand new bat species was discovered on the Rock.
This evening we've had the International Bat Night. We actually had confirmed a new species in the hand. We'd heard it on the detectors before, but it's a new confirmed species in the hand. And we had a Cool's pipistrelle. So there's a variety of features with the pipistrelle. So in the UK we have two mainly common pipistrelles, so we've got the soprano and the common. And in between two of the teeth there's an obvious smaller tooth shown. Here in Gibraltar and in areas of Spain, the Savvy's pipistrelle and the Cool's pipistrelle, they have no tooth. So with the Savvy's pipistrelle, it's a lot bigger than the one we had this evening. So based on the measurements and everything we had, we could prove it was the Cool's. But when we released it also, it was perfectly on form with the echolocation. Along with this as well, we've taken some swabs just to double check, but we're almost certain that it's the Cool's pipistrelle.
It's a fun night, but the message of conservation is crucial. For the groups who organise the event, it's not only a night to show children and adults the wonders of these fantastic flying mammals, but also to teach awareness about these sensitive, precious creatures. It's a calm Mediterranean evening, and our bat team visit what is possibly Gibraltar's most important historical site. The Sea Cave complex on the southeastern side of the Rock. Gorham's and Vanguard Caves are well known for their Neanderthal heritage. However, these caves have also served as a sanctuary for bats over millennia to this day. Our team is here to find out more about the populations in these caves.
So today we're in Gorham's and Vanguard Cave on the eastern side of the Rock. We're looking for the elusive, or we have been looking for the elusive European Freetail bat. The European Freetail bat is the second biggest bat in Europe, second biggest bat in Gibraltar, after the greater noctule bat. We found Vanguard and Gorham's to be probably one of the best sites in Gibraltar for this bat. It's an ideal environment for this species, the eastern side of the Rock being the darkest side of the Rock. There's barely any buildings, there's no lights. You've got the sand dune, you've got lovely cliffs for them, big deep caves, and there's hardly any disturbance. Disturbance is a huge factor for these animals. Sadly, over the years, a lot of people have disturbed them in certain caves, and even developments and lighting on the western side of the Rock has been a huge impact. So the eastern side, Gorham's and Vanguard, it's almost like a little paradise for this species amongst many other species of bats. So when we found this cave site, we knew that there was a bat using the cave. There were records for many years of different species using the cave, but we never had a record of freetail bats. So at the time we came down, we used some of our bat detectors and realized that there were freetails. We now have a thermal imaging camera which takes images of different heats and temperature, and that's helped us find exactly where in the cave they are. We've set up a rather large net. It's a 10-meter net. It's called a triple high mist net system, and it's been brought specifically from the United States. Then to bring them down, apart from the large net, we're also using a sonic lure, which basically emits a call like the one that they emit and actually brings them in towards the nets.
With the lure and net set up, the waiting game begins to try and capture and study this elusive species.
So the European freetail bat, it's an incredibly difficult species to catch, not just in Gibraltar but anywhere in Iberia. It's one of the few species that doesn't really need to come down to a water body to drink. They get all of that from the food that they're eating. It's really amazing to find a site like this one. This is actually the 6th or 7th time we've worked in this cave site. This species seems to use the rock during certain months of the year, and it's something quite novel for us. In fact, the first time we caught a European free-tailed bat was during last summer, 2015. So the European free-tailed bat is the second biggest bat in Europe. It's rather large. It's got a huge wingspan, and it's a crevice dweller. So it's found either in caves or in little crevices on limestone rock. It's an incredibly difficult species to actually be able to catch. As I said, they can be in any little crevice on any piece of limestone. Gibraltar being made of limestone, they literally could be anywhere. The European free-tailed bat, as the name says, has a free tail. It's the only bat in Europe that has a free tail. Free meaning it doesn't have a membrane on the side attaching it to the rest of the wings. It mainly uses the tail to help itself go backwards into tight crevices. As is commonly known now, Gorham's and Vanguard Caves are really important archaeological sites dating all the way back to the Neanderthals. And one of the funny and amazing things I find is that these bats that you find here now, these free-tailed bats, we've actually got the same species found in the fossil record dating back to over 100,000 years ago. So literally these very animals have been living in these caves for 100,000 years. It's been a really successful evening. We've had 3 individuals and we've been able to take some DNA samples from them. There were 3 males and they were in very healthy condition. One of them is actually a juvenile, which is really important information for us. It gives us hope that what we're doing it properly. Bats are incredibly sensitive animals. I know it's been said a lot in the past, but it's really not exaggerating when you say that any little bit of light, works going on in a building will really affect this species. It's incredibly important to keep areas dark, and therefore the eastern side of the rock, the Gorham's Cave complex and the area of Mediterranean steppes, those are absolutely ideal areas for bats. And we can't encourage people more that if you do find a bat, let us know. And please do leave them alone. It's imperative for them to be able to survive on the rock.